morning. What up? How you doing,
Buddy,
Jeff?
I'm
Hey, honey
good. Honey buns. Uh-oh. Where's HR when you need him?
where's where's HCO? We need to write an ethics report.
HCO, yeah.
Hello everybody and welcome to Monday night SPTV live from London and Vancouver. I'm
Yep.
apostate Alex. And who's this guy? Who are you?
Just some random schmo from Canada.
Just some
I'm Jeff.
weirdo.
Anyone who doesn't know me, I think you all probably know me, but yeah, I'm Jeff. I run the channel PCS for Life, and I'm the Canadian voice of Scientology here on the West Coast of Canada. So
And affectionately known as Jeff from Canada.
I'm Jeff from Canada. Janet.
Janet.
You know my dad.
So many. So for those of you, I don't want to have too many in jokes. For those of you watching, you have no idea what we're talking about. Jeff recently flew over from Vancouver and stayed with me here in London to protest Scientology. There was a large gathering, the International Association of Scientologists, the IAS, and Jeff came to protest. And Janet is the managing director of Scientology UK, who Jeff and I both know. And there was a hilarious moment when we were standing at the gates. I was like, "Hi, Janet, how's it going?" And Jeff shouted, "Hi, Janet, it's Jeff from Canada." And it just became an iconic moment.
Yeah. I should put it on a shirt, actually.
I'm Jeff from Canada. Yeah, absolutely. I would wear that, even though I'm not Jeff from Canada. Talking of Canada, hi, Gabe the Babe. Escaping the culture versus here.
Hello, darling.
Another Canadian YouTube channel, SBTV. Welcome.
Actually, we have quite a few Canadians in the audience right now. We got Toronto, we got on Ottawa, and Gabe is from Ontario as well. So,
wow.
Yeah, representing. Hello to all my fellow Canadians.
There we go. And SP Chef was lying in bed about to fall asleep when I got the notification that my two favorite gingers were on. So naturally, I'm here now. Look, we bring the ginger power Thetan power to SPTV, so we have a lot to deliver here, Jeff. I think the bar has been set high.
Oh, we got Calgary as well. Nice.
Hello.
Oh, and Kelly, BC.
There we go. Well, look, let's jump straight in. I mean, today there's two things. Firstly, Leaky McLeakface, the very famous sinking ship that is the Church of Scientology, I started the day with what I thought was going to be a huge piece of news, which was I managed to get through a source, a picture of David Miscavige on the stage talking at the IES event. Up until this point in time, we've had there's been a picture with him kind of in the background, blurred out, whatever. We haven't actually seen a picture of David Miscavige on stage delivering a speech at the IES event. And I managed to get one. Someone sent it through to me after attending the showing event at a local org. I published it going, look at this, we got a picture finally. And then only hours later, Scientology released the official photos of the whole event, which is a bit annoying, but fine. That means we have all the nice, lovely pictures of what went on in the tent while we were there protesting. So I thought, let's bring those up and have a look at them.
Yeah, for sure.
Where are we here? So they quite often use wide angle lenses and a bit of camera trickery to make it look a lot busier and a lot more full than it actually is. But this is the official picture from the back of the tent, showing what they're calling thousands of Scientologists. They didn't give a number this year, but I worked out that the legal capacity of the tent can't be more than 3,400. I reckon it's more like 2,000 people there. What do you think, Jeff?
I mean, based on the people who were coming in and out when we were there protesting the event, yeah, I'd say 15 to 2,000.
Yeah.
It's funny. I haven't really sat down to look at this picture, but the one British flag there on the lower left, just above the Canadian one, that one looks so fake. Not gonna lie, but it looks too perfect.
It does. I mean, I see I don't think it is. I think it's just caught in the right light.
Yeah.
If you look at the other ones, you can see they do look legitimate. But what I want to know is
hold on. I'm just, I'm just noticing this now that you're zoomed in. If you and you're mentioning the wide angle, if
Yeah,
you look at everybody's faces on the periphery,
yeah,
they're stretched out. They're not
yeah,
normal. Like this
yeah,
one lady's
exactly.
hair on the lower left there,
Yeah,
like there's nothing normal about that. So you're right. They're using trickery to make it seem
yeah.
much bigger.
That's because of it being a wide angle lens. So
Yeah.
like if you look at the easy way to tell is all of the can you see these like panels here? Each
Mm.
panel is exactly the same width. And look at how wide this panel here looks in comparison to the one over there. It's a perception thing and it's a wide angle thing. It's a very common trick used. Um, but what I want to know is like are the people holding these flags genuinely from that country? Or
Mm.
like as you go in, do they just give you a flag to hold so that it looks like there's people from all different countries all over the place? Like, do you think this guy here is British and this guy here and this guy here is Irish? Do you actually think that, or is it random? Do you think?
That's a good question. Um, there's not that many Canadians in there now that I'm looking at it.
I'm pretty sure that they are like I think that they're given flags, but
Yeah.
I think that they're given flags representative of their own countries. Because if in other pictures I've seen before, and you kind of see here, all of the countries are kind of generally together, like they're standing in a group or sitting in a group. Like you've got all the French group here and the
Right.
Netherlands, like it, and I think this is Italy over here. Like I think they are probably real, but
I think so.
funny nonetheless.
Yeah.
And here he is giving his 2-finger salute. Captain Mickey Witz himself.
Hey, can you zoom in on his shoes to see if they're lifted?
Oh, they're definitely lifted. Look at
Look
I
at that
can't get
heel.
in any bigger, but they're yeah.
Wow. That's at least 2 inches of lift right there, hey?
And he's still shorter than me. Here he is
That's
on stage.
amazing.
This might be a better one actually of the lifts. Oh, you can't really see here, but yeah, I mean this shows what his view from the stage is going to be like. Filled up, and you can see the celebrities here in the front row. It's quite blurry, obviously, but you've got Jenna Elfman here. I'm pretty sure this is Tom Cruise, Nancy Cartwright, the
Look
voice
at
of
her
Paul Bart
face.
Simpson. She's ecstatic.
Wow. Oh my god, it's David Miscavige.
Oh my god, like our hero. Yeah. I can't wait. I have something that I can't announce just yet, but I have some news coming out in the next 2 days that's I think going to be quite exciting. And once it's come out, I can then talk a little bit more about my thoughts on how ecstatic Nancy Cartwright looks here. I think
Mhm.
there was definitely inside the tent, like an increase in like enthusiasm for David Miscavige, more so than we usually see, I think.
Fantastic. I can't
Here
wait
he
to
is
hear it.
again. Yeah, that here he is like being truth to his heart. Like, look how serious he is. He's like, yeah, yeah, man,
Bro. Bro.
bro, yeah, bruv. And there he is. Look how much plastic surgery he looks like he's had. Like
Yeah.
that he's clearly had some work done, right?
It's funny because Andrea looks at him, and she's only really seen pictures of him like from the Scientology TV or whatever.
Mm.
But his head is so big, and like his hair, she looks at him like he's out of proportion. His head, he looks like a bobblehead.
He does. I've never noticed
Sorry,
that
Davey, but
before.
like, look at how big his hair is, and compared to it, he has very narrow shoulders. He's very
Uh,
small.
Free Zenu Project warning his hair plugs are a fire hazard.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Look, yeah, we could say I don't want to get into that bullying territory, but I do get it. You know, there's a lot that could be said about him that is not
Is there
positive. But
is
look,
there any way to work out how big the platform is he's standing on there?
probably like 2 foot or something like the whole. He's only five
Yeah,
foot, so
that's
or 5'1".
yeah. Hmm.
This is a custom made podium.
Right.
Like it looks from this picture like it's a normal size podium and a normal size human. But if you were to like have a actually, I wonder if there's pictures from later on because the Freedom Medal winners all went up on the stage to receive their award.
Hmm.
and there'll be normal height people, I imagine. So you might be able to get a good sense of like how small that podium is.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just skipping through this very quickly to see if we can find. I'm
Yeah, they
pretty
really
sure
do a
I did
number.
see one. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. So this is a normal size human at the podium. Like, look how far down it is.
Wow. And this is probably someone we might be able to find out his actual height too.
Yes,
We can find
Yuzuru
some.
Ogura. Yeah, maybe let's do some research and find out his height. And then this is another. This is a couple here. Like you can see how like that the podium is definitely below the belly button.
Yeah.
Right. It's definitely below the belly button. There's another one there. Whereas if you compare it to Mr. Mickiewicz, we can find it now.
Oh, that's
Oh,
so
there you go.
funny.
Yeah, look, compare it to Mr. Mickiewicz. It's so much higher up.
Yeah.
How funny. Mark the
Sorry,
Dorset
sorry, Davey.
SP. This podium is a child's one from Toys
Yeah.
R Us.
Hi, Mark.
Love it. Hi, Mark. How's it going? Thank you for joining us. Well, look, the main thing that actually I think is interesting from these pictures today is the opening of the Qual building, right? So, for those of you who don't know, what on the Sunday that we were there, we realized they were opening this new building, which wasn't announced ahead of time. It had all the banners and the ribbons, and I was like, oh my God, guys, they're opening the new Qual building. For context, the Qual building was finished in 2019. It is not a new building, it is 4 years old, but it hasn't had an official opening yet. So I knew exactly what it was when it was happening. There was a crowd of people outside, and we all went down and we started shouting and protesting. It was a major flap, and we found out later on that David Miscavige was there, and he was meant to go on stage and open the new building officially, and at the last minute backed out because of the trouble we were making with our protest. So Erin Banks, who's one of the spokespeople, actually opened the building instead, and they released some of the pictures. And this is what made my day. Like, so this is the new qual is qualifications, which is basically where they do all the staff training and all that sort of stuff. And you can see the stage here, very carefully cropped photo, because we were standing about here, where behind this tree, right? It was literally that close. We weren't far away.
I think it's great that we can very easily count how many people were there that day too. And you know that everybody on the grounds of St. Hill, including all staff, would be here for this opening.
Yeah, 100%. Like this is everybody that I mean, I recognize a lot of people in the pictures that we're going to see in a second, because obviously I used to work at London Organ. A lot of those people live and work around East Grinstead and study at St. Hill.
Mhm.
So I can quite easily identify which ones are staff and which ones are public. It was a huge turnout for this, but for the opening of a new building that's like an internal staff building. You wouldn't expect it to be hugely attended. However, the fact that it was so well attended, I think, is an indicator that David Miscavige is meant to do it and he was meant to be there, especially considering he announced it in the IES event. He talked, and this is in the statement you can see on the website. He talks about cutting ribbons and opening this new building and opening the Qual building on Sunday as his big finale. And they don't say in the statement whether he said he's going to open it. It just says, let's cut some ribbons. We're opening the new Qual building on Sunday. But what's really interesting is in the Qual building press statement, it quotes David Miscavige from that speech. It doesn't quote Erin Banks, who actually opened the building, and it doesn't say David Miscavige. Like, it doesn't lie and say when opening the building he said this. It's very clearly says during the IES event. And I think that's an indicator that it didn't go to plan, because otherwise, like if you look at the opening of like the National Affairs Office in Ireland, for example, Erin Banks opened that. She always is meant to. And the quotes in the press release are from Erin Banks, and that's fine. This particular one, they're using David Miscavige quotes from an event 2 days prior.
Well, and the other thing too is the amount of OSA presence that was there
Mm.
was a clear indicator that something bigger than Aaron Banks was going to be doing something. Like it was so much more. We had the ninja guy, we had at least two main security personnel who were there specifically to run everybody. And it's just so clear that we interrupted something massive for the very small David Miscavige.
Yeah. And you know what? This major flap continues, and that this is why it's made my day, right? Because protest is over, right? I think Scientology probably are thinking, cool, protests out the way. We don't need to worry about them for another year. And I wasn't joking when I said that I'm just getting started. Like, this is the beginning of a very long process for me. And I think they probably were like, yeah, whatever. I really wasn't joking, and we'll talk about the stuff I've been doing later in a minute, but they have also played a part in the continuation of this flap, right?
Really?
Because the protest is now memorialized for eternity unless they take it down
Mm.
on the Scientology's own website. I think this is fucking hilarious. Let me find it. So these are obviously pictures of the event and so on, which we can go through in a second. But in this picture, this is a picture taken from next to the stage, looking up the audience towards the road where we were standing. And look, I'm going to be honest. If you didn't know it was there and you didn't know what you're looking for, you wouldn't see it. But it is funny because it has been captured and it is on Scientology.org. If you zoom in over here, in fact, I'm going to open a screen share because it's a bit, I've managed to zoom in better. In the corner, in the background, you can very clearly see one of our protest placards. If you look here, so that's, you know, as I said, it's very blurry and I'm going to try and get a high quality version, but you can clearly see that's where we were standing. That is the black placard with the white writing and the orange. That's one of the reasons I wanted really clear visual signage that was like impactful from a like an imagery point of view, because it's hard to miss. And you can't miss it if you know that it's there. And this is the sign, just so people can see what it actually says. The UK Charity Commission rejected Scientology because it doesn't benefit the public. Now, as I said, you can't read that and you don't know what it is unless you're looking for it. But nonetheless, there is a photograph of our sign stating Scientology doesn't benefit the public on the Scientology website.
Perfect. Well done, sir. Well done. There was a comment in here that they're going to airbrush that out. And yes, they are, but we have it now. This picture's downloaded. This isn't a live on their website picture. And
this is what's going to be so funny to see their reaction. How quickly do they take it down or airbrush it out? Because
yep.
this was a flap. And that's what I mean. Like, the major flap of the protest has gone on. Like, they are still continuing to like promote our protest for us. So thank you, Scientology.
I can only imagine, like, this one slipped through the cracks. I can only imagine how many pictures they've had to alter and edit and crop and because of us. Like, we've just created so much of a headache for them. And I love it.
I think it's also very telling that they haven't released the video, right? Now,
Mm.
it might be that they're just not planning to and they're going to release it later. They have done that in the past, released a press statement and then released a video. But there is no way the video of the speech Aaron Banks gave and the opening of the new building, there's no way that you wouldn't be able to hear us in the background because we were so close and so loud. The only way they would be able to release a video is if after the event they go back and re-record or dub over some of the speech audio, because we definitely, you know, we were so close. So I think it's telling that they didn't release the video because either it's just part of the plan or they're needing to do some more dubbing, or it's just not possible to release the video because we were in it.
Love it. Love it.
Madness. There's some great comments in here. Someone actually said here that inappropriate Haifa. Did they really have a grand opening for a barn? Yeah, so this is a stable. So in at St. Hill, there are lots of different buildings. Obviously, it's an estate. And the stables, let me share my screen again. is the old building here, which is now used. It used to be, I think, accommodation berthing, and then I think it was converted into offices for a while, and now it's used as the staff refect. Like, this is where staff eat. This is where the SEAL members go to have their lunch and dinner. This is the staff eating area. And then this is the new building, the Qual building, which is it was £5.6 million they spent on this, and it literally exists for staff training and counselling, which is ridiculous because, as everyone knows, when you're on staff, you don't have time to, get trained and do bridge work, right? This is actually interesting to hear. This is Nat Wackley. So she's the mum of my old boss, Charlie. We saw her a couple of times, didn't we, on the day?
Yeah, said hello to her very politely.
She's lovely. We love Nat. She's great. And there's some here you go. Here's some pictures of the inside. People go on the tour. So this is like the course room. This is the HGC, which is where people receive their auditing. And look, it's kind of saying, look how busy it is here because we've got so many staff training. No, this is just people there for the opening being given the grand tour. I bet 20 minutes after this photo is taken, it was empty.
100%.
But yeah, that's the new building there that they built. And yes, it does look like a barn. So
a 5 point whatever million barn, though.
A £5.6 million barn. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's pounds too. That's like at least 8 or 9 million Canadian dollars.
Yeah, probably wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. But look, this whole thing is like, look at how great we are providing services for our staff. We've got open this new building, and we've got, this is the Continental Liaison Office, which is offices for like running the country, and then you've got, this is the Walsh Manor, which is where staff live that work at St Hill, the berthing, and then this is another area for like admin and that sort of thing called Bullards. Like, they're making a big statement here of like, look how great we are looking after our staff. And it's just a bold-faced lie because we all know that Sea Org staff get no time off. They work 14 hours a day every single day, and there's horrible control over these people's lives, no respite, no freedom, and they're all committed to work for the church for the rest of their lives for no pay. Like, you get 50 quid a week. So it's just a bit rich to see them going, look, we care about our staff development. We built them this new building. It's like, they don't want a new building. They want a little bit of freedom. They want pay. Why didn't you spend £5.6 million paying your staff, or giving them a better accommodation, or clothing, or a day off? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a bit rich in my mind.
Well, it's the same story across the world. Every single ideal org that's opened, it becomes empty right away, and they have this reasoning that the reason that Scientology is not expanding is because the org isn't good enough, and that's absolutely false. The reason Scientology is not expanding is because it's not workable, and they abuse people. But if they actually funneled the money that they're spending towards all these orgs into their HR department, for lack of a better word, where they're improving conditions for working and, helping out the staff, I think they would actually do better than they're doing now. They'd have happier people at the very least. And generally speaking, happier people do more work.
There's so many like simple things that they could do that would dramatically change the quality of life for its staff and would ultimately result in a better, more expanding group of people. Because, like you say, when people are happy and they don't feel restricted, they're going to do better, they're going to perform better, they're going to be more efficient. Like, these are all things that happen when you look after your staff. And like simple things like paying your staff minimum wage, or giving them a pension retirement plan, or healthcare, like all this sort of stuff that most people take for granted, would make SEAL members just that little bit happier and that little bit more looked after. And I reckon you'd have a lot of people staying a lot longer, and it wouldn't be, obviously it's still harmful and abusive, and Scientology is not a good thing. Like, it's still going to have that impact on people, but it makes it a little bit more tolerable, and it would work in their favor. So it's just hilarious that they are never going to do that because they don't care about their staff, and they're not going to change their ways or their policies because they have to follow what L. Ron Hubbard said, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Free Senior Project here. Thank you for the super chat. All that money they make, they don't pay their help, slave labor, and they have cheap Walmart grade school chairs in their course room. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're
Exactly.
very uncomfortable.
They are. I mean, I've sat in those chairs because they're the same ones or similar to the ones we had in London Org, and they're not for someone that's meant to be sat there for several hours reading a book and not moving, because you know if you move then that's an indicator you've got a misunderstood word, so you just got to be very like robotic. You know, they're not comfortable to be sat in for hours and hours, you know.
Yeah.
Danielle Chamberlain, hi guys.
Danielle.
Hi Danielle, we love Danielle, she's awesome.
Yes, we very much love Danielle.
There's also a comment here that I didn't want to skip over. Awaken H, and in part thanks to the protest, I'm
Awaken
done with Scientology.
Yep.
This is huge.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest products I think of that weekend so far, and has been one of my guiding factors for continuing to do this kind of work. You know, stuff like this is my reason for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is the thing that I've been trying to say for so long is 80 or 90% of the work that goes on in SPTV happens behind the scenes, right? Like, yes, we make content and we want to raise awareness and do all this. And this is all great and fantastic public facing stuff. But ultimately, you know, most, if not all of us, are here because we want to help people get out and recover from Scientology. And so a lot of that work happens away from the camera, and quite rightfully so. And that's why we're doing it. It's not because we want to have a successful channel or a big name or clout or whatever like this. Most of us are doing it because that, you know, we have to have a successful channel that grows and gets subscribers and stuff, because that brings more eyes onto the issue, which therefore means it's a bigger issue and people care about it more, and you have more resources available to help people.
Yeah.
That is like a product of your work, but the main work, your main focus for all of us is helping people. And so this is one example. You know, I've had a couple, I'm sure you have as well, emails from people that have said, thanks to your protest that I saw with my own eyes, I've changed my mind, or I'm reconsidering this, or I've stopped, I've left, you know. And I set out when I started organizing this protest, if I get one person to do that, it makes it all worth it. I've had at least 3 people, I don't know about you, Jeff, I've had 3 people tell me something positive about reconsidering as a result of the protest.
Yeah, I get quite a few emails, and I have had private chats with people who just needed to confirm what they're thinking. And I think the thing with that is finding someone who's willing to talk and that you relate to is important. That's why it's important to have so many channels. That's why SPTV is so important, is because let's say someone doesn't like you, Alex. God forbid, there might be one person in the world who doesn't, but they like me, or they like Lar FM, or they like Kelly Copter, whatever. Then they will reach out to them and be able to have that conversation in a more willing way, as opposed to having to be stuck with one person who's like running the show kind of thing. That's why diversity is so important. That's why it's important to have as many channels and people talking out as possible. Even if you just start a channel, or even just go on and tell your story on someone else's channel, that's gonna resonate with someone. So that's the thing, and that's why I do this, because 10 people may not like me, but one's going to, and that's the one that I want to reach out to and talk to.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, like, we don't care about who likes us and who doesn't like us. That's not why we're doing it, right? We've already got thousands of people around the world who think that we are literally the scum of the earth, the worst people on this planet. And that is Scientology. They hate us and they think we are the enemy and our lives should be destroyed. If anyone thinks we give a shit about what anyone thinks of us, we're in the wrong line of business if we care about what other people think. What we care about is helping people, right? And like Jeff just said, like, different people will have different connections with different people, and that's great. That's the beauty of all these SPTV channels, is you might relate to one person more than another, and that allows you to find a connection that could help you. So the more people speaking out, the better. And I think that's the beauty of it, and the evidence is there. You know, this protest was very directed in messaging that wasn't attacking, it wasn't criticizing, it was kind, compassionate, welcoming, and that is what came across and is now memorialized on the Scientology website.
Yep.
I find that hilarious.
I would like to validate someone's username here. Make it
Yeah,
go left. That's
make it go
hilarious.
left. I like that as a good one.
That's
That's a good one.
amazing.
Well, look, let's start wrapping it up. We'll do a couple of if you have questions and stuff, put them in the live chat and we'll answer them now. Someone did ask earlier here, fangirl Jen Alex, is the East Grinstead mayor giving you a hard time? I saw you telling us to be nice on Twitter. Yes, so I am going to be doing a video about this separately. There is a development in this news story. Essentially, long story short, for those of you who don't know, I've caused a bit of a stir amongst East Grinstead Town Council. East Grinstead is where St. Hill is located, the headquarters of Scientology UK. Turns out the mayor went to this Scientology event and took a £50,000 check for his charity. In addition to attending multiple other events like the premiere of Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible earlier. So I just questioned that, and I was trying to ask him, hold him to account for these decisions. And it's caused a massive stir on Twitter. The mayor has now blocked me on Twitter, so I can't tweet him anymore, which I
Really?
personally think is a breach in the code of conduct, because there's a code of conduct that councillors have to abide by that says you have to confront criticism and hold yourself accountable. And my argument is he's not responded to my criticism and has just blocked me.
He's
That's
sticking his
not,
head in the sand.
yeah, that's not holding yourself accountable and confronting criticism. But fortunately, dozens of other people who are following and find it really funny, they've all just been sharing my tweets and stuff. So he's got a barrage of messages recently. So if the question was, is he still giving me a hard time? He never has given me a hard time. He's just blocked me. But the message that I said being nice was more directed at the people getting involved, because I love the support. How many people on Twitter have got behind it and started tweeting him, asking questions. But what I don't like to see is the bullying. Like, a certain handful of people have started attacking the councillor, attacking the mayor, which I don't think is fair. Like, I think that you should hold someone to account and question them, but I don't think you should be mean to them, because, yes, he's made a mistake, but there's no need to name call or bully. There's a difference between bullying and accountability, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that was the main point, really. All right. In theta, flap, flap, flap. Yes.
Flap, flap, flap.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a bird, isn't it? Scientology is just flapping all over the place.
Yeah.
Danielle Chamberlain. Question: do they have an official opening for every single building? Yeah. Nowadays.
Yeah, the orgs for sure. Yeah. Any kind of big building, any kind of important building or main building will have its own opening.
Yeah. Any cause for celebration that they can come up with.
Yeah. It's not meant for any reason other than to convince the people who are already in that things are going well. It's smoke and mirrors. And as soon as that opening is done, maybe a week or two later, once all the excitement is done, it's empty. And we hear that constantly. You can go to any ideal org and look at their parking lot and see how full it is any time of the day.
It's
You'll see.
also it's an excuse to get pictures in which the place looks really busy. Because if they say we need 100 people here, all Scientologists in the area need to be in the same place at the same time, then they can get dozens of pictures that make it look like it's really busy and filled up, that they will continue to use for years and years and years. Because quite rightly, as you say, 20 minutes after everyone leaves, it's going to be dead. We saw that, right? On the Sunday after the coal building opening, we saw everyone flocking to their cars and leaving the St. Hill property. Like, it's empty. It's a ghost town.
Yep.
But alrighty, what's the next one here? Alicia Medley. It says a lot that it still looks new when it's 3 years old. It hasn't been used. 4 years old. 2019 this building was completed. And yeah, it hasn't been used because Scientology don't care about staff welfare. Simple. All right, last question from Danielle Chamberlain again. Comment: if Graham Wilson ever spoke to me, I'd ask him if I was such a terrible SP, why did he invite me to his flat in Scotland to watch football with Tom and Dean?
I'm missing this one.
Great question. Look, Graham Wilson is the head of OSA here in the UK. We saw him at the gate at the protest. I think what Daniel's saying here is, it would be his job to, like, attack us and make our lives misery using fair game. So I think what Daniel's saying here is, like, well, if she's such a big bad SP, why was he so friendly to her back in the day?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I talked with Graham. He was very nice. He said a few words to me.
I'm not going to say anything about Graham Wilson publicly.
It was a bit reluctant, but he did communicate to me, hey, it's the first, other than the two guys in OSA on Sunday, it was the first time any of them had actually spoken to us.
True.
So,
I mean, Graham would have nothing to do with me. He didn't. The grade 0, communicate with anybody on any topic, which is what you're meant to be able to do once you've achieved that state on the bridge to total freedom, was clearly out of the window, because Graham, I don't know whether he, had lost his voice or, had become deaf or something, had a hearing problem, but he was unable to communicate with me at all on that day. I don't know what was wrong with him, or I hope he's okay, but he just couldn't communicate. He seemed like he was physically unable to communicate with me, which is a bit of a problem. So Cornelius Antonius here. I know I said that was the last one, but this is a really good question, actually. Is the St. Hill raw sewage handled? Yes, as far as I'm aware. Do you know about this, Jeff?
I don't think I do.
So Stephen Jones, who is with us at the protest, is a legend when it comes to holding St. Hill and Scientology to account. Several years ago, he found out that the sewage system at St. Hill was faulty or not installed properly or not in use. And it was literally, there was like an area down the bottom of the property where they were literally like just pumping sewage out into the river, like water stream local area. And it's a protected area of outstanding natural beauty. So it's protected because of the nature and all of this. And Scientology, essentially, after Stephen Jones campaigned for it, got a massive fine, and then they had to spend a bunch of money installing like a new treatment works and all of this. And then several months later, it turns out that this treatment works were then faulty, and they got fined again, I believe, for like the broken. And then it all got sorted in the end. But yeah, it was a bit embarrassing for Scientology, and it has now been handled. Yes, but I understand the council keep a close eye on it because they're concerned.
I bet.
So, alrighty. Anything further you want to add, Jeff, to this before we wrap up?
Like and subscribe. Pretty much it. Tomorrow I'll be doing a live regarding Scientology training, the very basics of it and what it looks like, what Academy looks like, and everything. So that's going to be kind of fun, and lots more stuff in the shoot. And I know you got some stuff on the works, so.
I know. I mean, I can't join you for the thing about training tomorrow because apparently, according to Scientology, I was only in for like 3 weeks. So I wouldn't know anything about this training stuff. So I wouldn't be able to join you for that because I don't know anything. But what I do know is there's a lot of stuff going on down in East Grinstead behind the scenes that we don't know about. I wrote this article on Scientologybusiness.com, which is my website, about how the mayor's being paid off. It goes a lot deeper than what I said in that article. So there's more stuff coming out from that story in the next couple of days. There's also a story, as I alluded to earlier, about Nancy Cartwright, the IAS event, that sort of thing. And there's also some really interesting insider information that's going to be coming out very soon. So there's a lot of big stories here that I can't wait to share. But guys, I'm so excited too. If you're watching this and you want to support the channel, Jeff and I both have Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link down below. You can buy us coffees, super chats and all that. But we're coming to the end now. They take like 30% of super chat money. So buying coffee is the best way of supporting us. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff, because it pushes the video out to more people, and that means we can help more people. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And make sure you check out, if you're watching on my channel, Jeff's channel, PTS for Life. And we'll see you guys very soon.